Okay, Patty, how are you tonight?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good shape for the commission. Okay. Work session, first thing we go through usually resolutions and motions. I apologize because there were a couple changes. Colleen reminded me I forgot a line. Emily reminded me I forgot to change one item, so that's why you have a new agenda in
Yeah, we had a D in the,
Yeah.
handout, but
Yeah.
not on the agenda.
and it is now.
Yeah, we got a new agenda.
Okay,
I got old agenda.
We should have had another one in there, it says update. Put one in, I put one in before the end of the day today.
Oh, okay.
okay, first on the agenda is the budget. Approval. Those are the changes that I had talked about 3 weeks ago. No one said no, that's adding $5,000 to, or, excuse me, 4,500 to, Colleen's line for the assistant. We had to change a couple, I changed around the, appropriated, fund balance for the, highway. Took, more out of the fund balance so they could reduce the tax rate. As per what the state would like us to do. And that just changed the tax rate, the town assessment value, town outside the village. Those are the new changes from Tina, total to be raised by taxes, etc. Tina was rather at the last minute this year. She was kind of busy. But we got all her final changes in, so we're all set. Anybody want to read that?
I'll read it if nobody else wants to, but, you know, that's fine. Essentially, A 1220.1. Do most of the people know what the A fund is?
On the board, I would hope so.
Okay, and DB, of course, is. Yeah, does the A fund changes represent bringing on board a part-time that you were mentioning?
In the
or
bookkeeper,
anticipating?
yes.
In the bookkeeper,
Mhm.
okay.
There are the other changes that you see in the under new business. Check with Dave Miller, his approval. No budget change and check with Dawn. And there's really no budget change in the cleaners. It's just change of personnel, that's all. So Doc's gonna read down. B is a resolution for the municipal fire contract.
That's it.
You wanna read it, JJ?
I got it.
JJ, I think, because he negotiated.
Okay, C, entertain a resolution, set the public hearing, and change local law number 5 to local law number 4, because we're under the budget. Tax cap. Anybody
I
want-
got it.
Do we want a smaller version of it than reading the?
I'll make
Uh,
No, I'm.
Do I just have to read the first page?
Yeah, basically, Patty, and then when you get to the last one, just say. Did you propose the following local law? Number 5 as attached, and then
5 or 4.
5 to
five.
repeal number 4. And then you have to read the page. At the end
Local legal notice.
about setting the public hearing.
Okay, so page 1 and page 4, basically. Okay,
Page 1 and 3,
1 and 3.
and then the.
1 and 3.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, D, a resolution to set the public hearing for the contract extension for Twin City Ambulance.
I'll read it if nobody wants to.
Okay, start. takes care of those. Next is the, I'll entertain a motion to approve the cleaners. It says effective 11/1. Dawn would like it effective 10/31, and that's Dale Gooch and Roxanne Gabby. To date, they have been working for close to 2 weeks, and I've heard nothing but good things out of all 4 buildings. So we'll officially do that. F is a motion to approve part-time hire in the building and planning department. Dave Miller has talked to, and Christine Popowski would like to come in and is willing to come in and work 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday. So she works part-time, 20 hours. Effective the 1st of December. That gives also Linda time to
Okay.
button up. And that's, and she's, it is mentioned that if you ever need, we ever need her, she'll come in here and there to answer phones and all that, you know, she liked the job, it was just some personal issues. Why she come on. G, I'll entertain a motion to approve the part-time assistant and bookkeeper, which would be Emily McCoy. Emily is part-time town clerk at the moment. She can handle both jobs. We did a test run with her last week with payroll, and that went very well. Colleen was very happy, and if Colleen's very happy, you know the person did a good job. Okay.
That's good news.
So, we'll entertain those 3, and that'll be, effective this meeting, the 14th. So,
How does she split it in terms of the hours?
any hours she works for Colleen, she'll get that pay, and any hours she works for Dawn gets that pay. The hours won't be,
It's still part-time, right?
yeah, oh, yeah, I mean, Dawn is willing to work on the part-time hours that she has, say she has her for, what should she schedule for?
She's Wednesday through Friday, 9 until 1.
So she's scheduled for 12 hours. If for some reason during those 12 hours, there are certain times of the year where Colleen could use her for payroll and they're not busy at the town clerks, she'll just come over and there won't be additional hours. It'll just be redistributed. So instead of getting 12 hours credit in the clerk's office, she might only get 8 and she'll get 4.
Yeah,
in
the total is 12, seems to be weekly.
Okay. Next, new business. Excuse me, not new business, work session items. Let's see. Planning noise law, I think Mr. Miller was in last week.
Yes,
He said he was gonna put together a draft, hopefully within this past week, and I have not gotten it from him yet, so I'm assuming he will get it to me shortly.
do you ask him or remind him?
I will remind him, cause we'd like to have that for next meeting, work session,
Yeah,
right?
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
it's sort of vindicated, then.
The land bank,
Last week, the flavor wasn't too much in favor from my recollection.
Right.
Yeah.
Pat agreed? Okay, so I'll take it off the agenda.
I think unless there were specific properties that Dave Miller had some reason why he thought that there would be value, because I think he had alluded to that at some point and we weren't sure, so maybe I would ask him that and then otherwise.
Yeah, he had mentioned 2, and one of them's been sold. So
So that's off the market.
Randy, Raybeck and Kriegel Road, that property's been sold. I forgot which of the other ones, but we can ask Dave. Okay, water and sewer, Scott, got
Yeah,
a lot of
so-
news for us.
Yeah, it's actually fairly good news these days too. So all of the mainline water line has been completed, so. Knapp, Indian Falls and Kirby, all of the actual kind of main line has been put in.
And that's verified by Wendell.
Yes, so
Hallelujah.
next pieces, so what's going on now is they did the testing. So they have to do a pressure test and they have to do chlorination of the line to make sure that everything's okay with each of those three lines. Indian Falls, they've done the testing. To us, it meets approval standards, so that has gone to the ECWA for their approval. For Knapp Road, the pressure testing was done on Saturday, so that worked out okay. They were supposed to do the first round of chlorine tests today. They would do the second round of chlorine tests tomorrow. As long as everything continues to go well, then that would mean Knapp Road is done. And then they'd have to do the testing and inspection at Kirby, hopefully late this week, weather permitting. Once those are all approved, what you then go and do is you can do the service line connections finally. So I know I got one call, just in case you guys get these phone calls, tell the people not to be nervous that their services have, they still have the pigtails out there. And that's because you have to wait till it passes the inspection to do those connections. So just if anybody comes to you and asks that, that's why. The other piece that they have to do is then actually do the connection to the existing water line that's already in place. So we expect they'll be done with all the testing, the services and the interconnections, end of this month, early December at the latest. Again, all gonna be weather permitting. They will do the driveways if they haven't done them already. I haven't had a chance to go out there. Okay.
As of Sunday, they
Yeah.
haven't done them.
So they're still looking to do the driveways before, it gets too bad here. Yeah.
When you say do the driveways, you mean like asphalt driveways, put in new asphalt?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, where they did the cut across the driveways,
Got it. Okay,
put in the new asphalt, also get their piles of stuff out of here and things like that. The final grass won't happen until next spring. So that's where we are. They're a little bit behind what we had hoped for a schedule, but it's not substantial. So. The one other piece, just so you're aware, in 2 weeks, we do have a pay application from them. We're still going back and forth with them on that to get the final. I's
numbers
dotted.
correct.
Yeah, T crossed. I expect by midweek I'll have something for you and I'll submit it and then, a week and a half from then we can have it on the agenda hopefully.
Wow. If we get 1 to 2 feet of snow, that's not gonna help them. Thursday to Sunday night to legend.
That is a good,
Only if it sticks around,
yeah, that's,
then the ground won't freeze.
Well, will the snow affect the testing?
no, well.
didn't-
The only
It
thing it
should.
could affect is that, so the thing that you have to be careful with, the pressure testing you can just kind of do. The chlorine testing, it's very specific. What you do is you fill the line, you do test 1 day, you then have to wait 24 hours to do your second test. If you kind of miss that test window, so if by whatever chance your testing lab can't get out here to do the test, 24 hours later, you have to restart the whole test. So that's the only thing that could be an issue if their testing company tells them, I can't promise you we're gonna be out there Friday, they may have to wait for that.
If it gets discombobulated with respect to the testing, you go to the bottom of the testing list.
It's not too bad for that. That usually isn't bad. It's just more of, the biggest issue we run into is people trying to do testing on a Friday. We're like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna get anybody to come out and take your second sample on
On
Saturday. So don't even try.
And 4 days a week you work.
So that's what I have there.
Okay, any other questions? Albert,
We're still waiting. The state is. There's been differing signals of how they're gonna issue that money. So this is the whole Bridge New York funding for bridges and culverts. There was initial signs that they were gonna do it like they did in the past. There are now new signs that it may go to the counties and then the counties distribute it. Which we'll have to see.
Do you have a list for Mike?
No, I was hoping that he would be here. I will contact him tomorrow.
That wasn't on the talking points, was it? Culvers.
Cause that's really not village town, but, so you're gonna reach out to him,
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I was hoping that I would see him tonight to ask him and make sure we're both on the same page, but it's no problem. I'll talk to him tomorrow.
Okay, anything else there?
No.
Okay, buildings, John, library, denial,
No update on the denial, no sense really worried about that till spring. I did talk with Christine on the HVAC quote. I asked her just to call that high bid. And see where they're at, and kind of give us a ballpark figure. No, I think we go with the highest one for going out to bid. So we know which way we have to go.
we don't have to go out to bid if we
No,
go
the
alone.
lowest, I would say if the lowest one is still under 35,000, then we don't need to go out to bid.
Okay. I will call her on that then.
She was trying to find out if the bid that was submitted a year ago was still reasonable, or if they were gonna change it. Was that the issue?
Right,
Okay.
because it was pretty close to 35,000, and if it's now over 35,000, then we need to go out to bid. But if it's still under 35,000 and she's gotten threes, then she should make sure. She can call the other ones to make sure she has 3 written quotes. We won't have to formally go out to bid as long as one of them's under 35,000.
So you're hoping? I
It was
guess.
only like 33, I
Yeah,
believe, so I
but
think
what
there's a
was-
chance
Okay,
that I think it's worth calling and asking.
Yep.
Cause we need a baseline to know if we need to go out to bid.
okay. Also, I did get the 3 contacts from Dawn. For the ceiling of the brickwork up there. I don't think it's anything urgent. I'm gonna try and get a hold of those guys this week, but. I don't think that's something they can do through the winter anyways, but if they can, fine. But again, like all that rain we had, there were no issues, so.
That's good news.
Well, it is good news. It just shows me that it's more of the walls than the roof, right? If you get in the wind, the driving rain, as opposed to the rain, it was just coming basically straight down. Well, I don't know what day it was, but we got like 2 inches of rain.
It was 3 or 4 days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It came down,
yeah,
it was.
And there wasn't anything leaking anywhere during that time period, so.
Wow.
Okay. Any other buildings, stuff, town hall? I see Mike got that all, the bricks are all gone and. Everything looks good out there, the topsoil was brought in. Okay, grants. Parks, now elections, I believe are almost over in New York State. I will reach out to our Senator Gallivan, who is now our senator. I can't go to Ed Rath anymore because he is no longer in office in any capacity, so. I'll reach out to him and Holly to see if they can follow up on what the status is.
Always from Batavia, isn't it? Is it
But I
based
believe
on-
that's where his residency is.
Batavia.
Green Belt Development Block Grant has been submitted. They have this coming week. Paul DiOrlangelo and crew are coming out, meeting with Sarah at the senior center. Concerning that van. And. I reached out to the grant writers concerning grants. be honest with you, I asked them to look into a new park grant. I think waiting 6 years. Beat my head against the wall any longer, maybe if we get a, that was a member item. And you would have thought that would have flew right through, but if we get a grant. I didn't want to do both. So we'll see. So anyways, they're checking out.
Checking
for-
out.
See what's coming up first. Nothing's gonna happen between now and the first of the year, but at least we'll know what the timeframes are. Or hopefully. Okay, highway. I have nothing. I think Mike submitted. Talking points for this evening. I don't know if there's anything on there that we wanna talk about, or we wanna wait for the meeting, or. Anything other? In the highway? There was a joint, meeting this past week. I did not attend as I was sick, but Doc was there and Peter, Carl.
Yeah, you got the notes
Yeah.
from Pete and I was going to comment on it, that's all.
You're gonna comment on the meeting?
Yeah, unless it's.
There's nothing
appropriate.
gotchas that I see.
Oh, good gracious, no, just informative for the Akron Bugle.
Okay. Any other?
Garbage contract, is it something?
Garbage contract, yes. I reached out. I know Joe reached out to me that last week he had, and maybe John knows a little bit about this, I'm not sure. With 2 village trustees, I think. The village wants to order the 95. And then if the residents want to go with a different one, so be it, but at least. Everybody's gonna be charged the 95. I think that's where the village is headed as far as their recommendations. I reached out to Darren and Jane early this afternoon. And asked them for an update from last Monday's meeting, and they haven't gotten back, but as soon as they do. We still got time. We got. a Couple meetings yet to pass the contract, and I think that's the only gotcha is that I'm aware of, is whether we go with. I don't have a problem with going with the 95, and then if I call up later on and I say I only want a 65, we get a 65.
So the town, we're gonna give them the same option, our residents, if they want a smaller one?
I don't see
They
why
pay
not.
for it.
I thought they said you couldn't mix sizes.
I know, that's what I thought too.
Nah,
That's why I was. We were told before that we'd have to pick one size. I don't know if that was because of the truck issue.
Yeah.
The unit.
We were told that.
Yeah,
Right.
There's
It sounds like maybe it's a billing issue though.
it's okay.
Yeah,
That's the only explanation.
We'll wait to hear back from I'll try to get a village response this week so that we can talk about it Monday. And hopefully, vote on it at the end of the month. We both have to agree.
I don't have a problem giving people an option. The question I still have is. If you have an extra tote. Can you put the extra tote out on any pickup time? Like you would with the recycling. But people have extra recycling totes.
what's the contract say about that? One resident, one tote?
It doesn't really say anything about
Oh,
that scenario.
The numbers.
It says, yeah, we are billed by volume, by the number of totes.
So
I will,
my recollection was if you wanted. If you had more than your tote would contain, you could put out another one and they'd pick it up. At least that's what I thought they said.
You can put out a bulk item every other week.
Bulk items, right,
What's
for
the
the garbage.
description of bulk item?
sofa,
if someone-
refrigerator,
Yeah, sofa, refrigerator, dishwasher.
An extra
Yeah.
bag of garbage?
Would be a bulk.
Okay, alright.
But that's probably gonna remedy it 9 times out of 10.
I think in Clarence, they said they couldn't put out an extra bag of garbage.
Which contractor?
Yeah.
They've only got three
Three or
over
I don't know.
there.
Yeah, and Patty, we don't know if they have additional bulk pickup every week or not either.
Okay.
You did too.
I think their system is just a little archaic, because why would you have three different garbage trucks go down the same road every week?
It's a nightmare.
It just doesn't make any sense how that can be cheaper than phone service. Anyways.
So we're still waiting for the
Yep.
determination of the Akron.
I will try to get the information from the village. We'll have that for you Monday.
The flavor seemed to be Mox Nix with Joe 95. He had no problem with that. I expressed an interest in 65 from the get-go. But I'm not going to go to World War III if everyone wants a 95.
What size is the recyclable?
Yeah.
That's a pretty big tote. Yeah. So you go to 95, that's.
That's why- For people who come and they come every week. And if you get a bigger one, they say, hell, I threw it in the garbage. I'm not going to bother recycling.
Hopefully we'll have that option where you can downsize it, right?
Right.
Yes.
In checking with other towns, let's see, Wales. Garbage and recycling totes coming to Wales. And theirs are 95. And it doesn't say anything, it's the.
Yeah.
But that's the standard out there that the companies are
Going to
contracting
using.
is 95. You wanna go smaller? I think we just need to check out that option. It'd be great if we can.
That's fine. At the expense of the resident, if they want to go to 65 as opposed to 95. Or we buy a number of the 65s. And then supply them to the residents who don't want the 90.
Yeah, the internal, how we charge that is gonna, entirely up to us. But what I think Modern is saying, or at least is what I heard from Joe, is they will charge 95. You'll be charged 95, I will be charged for 95. Whether we get 65 or 95, we get charged for 95.
Because the tare weight of it, if they know how many units are 95, then you got the tare weight subtraction from the weighting, that's what you have to pay.
Okay, anything else? Thanks for bringing that up, John. Anything else? We're starting to get letters in for people wanting to be reappointed. I will send out this week and next week, this month, to those that have not replied back to us, to ensure that we have full boards. I don't see us not, perhaps a deputy town prosecutor, because what's her name from Walden? Strong, Jennifer Strong is declined for next year.
So that would be a vacancy that might not be.
The assistant, well,
The assistant DA.
in assistant town prosecutor, Bob Friedman has submitted his letter that he wants to be reappointed. Bob handles 99.9% of it. I don't think Jennifer was called on yet this year. So we're covered.
Maybe
In
that's where she declined.
the courts. I guess aren't meeting every third Wednesday anymore. But that's not. my
What
call.
prompted that?
That's up to the
Lack of
judges.
business? I know it's up to the judges, but there was any,
Doc, I have no idea. We weren't,
but for years it's been every Wednesday, right?
well, 4 out of 5, each
Yeah.
judge had 2. And officially, I don't think Dawn's been notified. And officially, I haven't been notified that they've cut back. One judge has cut back for one split.
That's the prerogative, but it'd be courtesy to let you know that.
Dave, you have a ballpark figure on where our COVID funds are approximately?
Right at this moment.
Not
no,
this
but
moment,
I
but
can
I
have
mean-
it, I can have that for you.
All right.
Colleen's just figure that out.
Just one last thing too, so building fees, for next year, should I work with Dave Miller and Julie on that?
Yes,
Cause I think it's been 8 years since we revised the engineering review. fee.
you don't want to rush into it, Scott. Come on.
Please go 10
So-
years.
You know, think about it for the next 4 or 5 years. No, you are correct. Okay.
Okay,
Status. Yeah, I'd run that by them.
No.
I can't see through the lines who it is.
Yeah.
Is that Lewis?
Danny Collins here, and there's another couple here, that's all I do.
Elton Dan
Yeah,
and
that's
what?
gotta be, no concerts were there.
Just the Halloween concert. I didn't get one call on that. Did you get any calls on the Halloween?
Oh,
concert?
Dave Miller mentioned that there were 0 calls, I think.
I think what they want to know is what our status is on the noise law.
I do too.
I will tell you that the noise on Clarence Center Road is becoming irritating.
And you know,
Oh, God, yes.
give me a call.
I guarantee you, if you stand at the road, I don't know whether it's the pond or whatever. And it's the same complaint, the base. They didn't, the base.
When it gets back, give me a call.
But what you have there is you have you have 2 concerts, or excuse me, 2 weddings a night, Friday night, Saturday night. There's 1 usually Friday, 2 Saturday and 2 Sunday.
Simultaneously.
You know, one in the each building.
Give me a call sometime when it's obvious.
Yeah, I should call Miller too.
It's a real measure.
I just sit there and turn the TV up a little bit. Wait for 11 o'clock. They are very good about shutting down all that. I will say that only once they haven't this year, and that was the lady that runs the venues. It was her wedding.
Give me a call when it's noticeable, give me a call. I'd love to get real science.
I remember that night I called at midnight. Called over there and I got Steve Cummings, I don't like to complain, but I says, 11 o'clock, you're supposed to shut down. Oh, yeah, we sort of forgot about it. Why don't you come over and join us? I go, that's not what this is about. It's, I'm waiting for a call from my next door neighbor who's got it's an 18-month-old, you know, and even Chris Whitmer said that when he gets notified, everything's cool, because he just, especially with the fireworks, adjusts his kids. But all of a sudden, he doesn't know about it, and his kids have been put to bed at 9:45 or whatever. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's gonna calm them down for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, you can't sleep through it, that's for sure.
Is there any opportunity, because code enforcement officer member mentioned that when I asked him about the measurement that he made, he used, I think, his Mach, is that the recollection? His phone, on the phone, and it was a C scale when I.
Okay.
Which scale?
Well, if we're all done with the work session,
Just. If
You want me to move forward? Do you want
your
to
instrument and
I have to
his
go back to
could be
the-
measuring simultaneously is compared.
More than happy, yeah,
Okay.
well.
That has not happened.
Are you sure?
That's all I wanted to see.
I guess I'm just not supposed to close it up.
Yeah, don't close our, I think you can plug it in and have it all.
All of these apps on the smartphones, they need to be calibrated, but the instrument I got is a calibration machine.
Okay.
Well, that's why I bring it up and ask. So we can calibrate from this one to the smartphone now.
Keep the season off right, so that much an hour.
Next year's gonna be different, I think. Yeah, very contract with you, all I have to stuff out with the bid. Contractor, committee guys, can you set this job, that won't be there, the route. That's why we have our own. And I think you want,
Oh,
all around.
no, that's fine.
I think you get one here.
Stay home. Is this where it goes?
Hacking on you, so.
No.
That works.
Oh, no,
She plugs in under here. Watch your head.
Where's my son's staying?
Yeah, that's-
Can
I
you
got
get down there, Doc, or not?
Watch your head.
Yeah, you watch it.
It's just, I might need help getting back up.
Okay, I understand that.
Go to that back. This was first. Yeah.
Thanks, chief.
Yeah, that's its first bill.
Oh, anyways.
You know what, that one, so that was like. Stuff, yeah, exactly. And it really was like there.
Okay, do we put her on? Are you on, Patty?
Yep.
I read.
No, I don't read that. Just say they're about conversation. It's the patch. Okay. Like to call the public hearing for the fire contract of the Newstead Fire Company for 2023 to 2025 to order with roll call, please.
Councilman Jandrowski,
Here.
Councilman Burke,
Here.
Councilwoman Hope,
Here,
Supervisor Cummings.
Here.
I'll try that word. Councilman Dugan.
And Councilman Dugan is sick this evening. Jen, would you read proof of publication?
Please take notice that there has been presented to the town board on October 11th, 2022, copies of a proposed fire and emergency services contract with the Newstead Fire Company Incorporated for 3-year period commencing on January 1st, 2023 and terminating on December 31st, 2025. The contract provides that payments in each year under the fire and emergency services contract shall be $448,000 for 2023, $461,440 for 2024, and $475,283.20 for 2025. Therefore, pursuant to the town law and general municipal town law rules, the town board of the town of Newstead shall hold a public hearing on the above fire and emergency services contract at the town of Newstead Town Hall, 5 Clarence Center Road, Acton, New York, at 7:20 PM on the 14th day of November 2022, at which time persons interested may be heard. Copies of the aforesaid proposed fire and emergency services contract are available in the office of the town clerk for inspection and distribution to any interested person during normal business hours. The meeting room is wheelchair accessible. Those needing special arrangements should call the town hall by November 9th, 2022. This meeting may be recorded by order of the town board of the town of Newstead.
Thank you. Okay, we're here to discuss the fire contract. Our fire committee has discussed that with the committee from the Newstead Fire Company and taken a few months and got through it, which is good. Is there anybody here that has any comments for or against? This is easy. Okay. Being none, we will vote on this at the later on in the meeting. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Is there a second?
second,
Discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Carried. So we'll move on into the regular meeting. The roll call has been taken. Would you please all stand and I will lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
I,
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the 24th of October. There any questions, comments? Being none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
so moved,
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We also had a work session on the 7th of November, in which
Agenda changes.
oh. I haven't gotten that far. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm out of whack, you're right. Agenda changes. There are no agenda changes that I'm aware of to the revised agenda that we sent out today. So we'll move on to communications, sorry.
We received a letter from Charter Communications notifying the town of upcoming programming changes taking place on November 29th, 2022. We received a letter from the New York State Department of State notifying the town that local law number 4 of 2022 was received and filed on October 17th, 2022. We received a notice of public hearing from the Erie County Legislature regarding the proposed consolidation and modification to the agricultural district. The hearing took place on November 3rd at 2:30 p.m. at the legislature chambers and included the removal of 1 50.69 acre parcel in Clarence, 2 parcels in Amherst totaling 29.1 acres, removal of 1.7 acre parcel in Alden, and consolidation of all the agricultural districts into the North Consolidated Agricultural District number 1. And we received the annual packet of information regarding the Association of Towns annual training in New York City on February 19th through the 22nd. That's all.
We'll address some of those later on. I'll entertain a motion to receive and file.
so moved,
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Carried. Now, we also had a work session on the 7th of November. Highlights discussed for a water project. And also information concerning Leisure Woods request. Concerning water, we discussed only briefly the noise law. Our code enforcement officer joined in and said that within a week to 10 days, he would have a draft to our town attorney for her review, and then we'll discuss it at the town board level. Joy facility was discussed, that gas well update. Patty was concerned about the cost of diesel. That is a concern of everybody moving forward. I know the last time I talked to Mike, he was looking into talking to other towns and or purchasing ourselves an extra tank, diesel tank. And trying to get more diesel on hand. That just belongs at a week or two. But nevertheless, would get us perhaps through a bigger storm. Discuss the refuse contract, the village of Akron, we're waiting on responses from them concerning the contract and potential joint meeting. We discussed some personnel changes that were going to take place later on in this meeting. went into executive session at gosh, I'm not-
7:27.
uh,
I think it was 7:27,
7:27 and came out at
8:04.
8:04. Thanks, Emily. Appreciate it. To discuss personnel and highway issues. And that's it on our session. Agenda items, if there's anything on the agenda that has confused you or you have a question, this is the time to ask. If it's not on the agenda, we will address that under privilege of the floor. Okay, being none. Approval of the bills. There are several budget transfers, which is normal this time of year. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed, carried. Next, we have the bills.
I would offer the following bills for payment: general, $55,279.70. General outside the village, $81.69. Highway, $8,676.39. Drainage, $1,483.21. Fire, $2,200. Refuse, $26,628.32. Sewer district number 1, $606.77. Sewer district number 2, $84.78. Sewer district number 3, $486.37. Trust and agency, $750. Consolidated water, $4.50, for a total of $96,281.73.
Is there a second?
73 cents.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Bills are paid. Committee and department head reports. Highway, I have his talking points for the 14th. Mowed parks, mowing, road mowing, trimmed guardrails, etc. Micro paved North Ayers and Pole Road. One truck help Erie County Highway, Town of Alden, Village of Alden. Ditch work on Martin Road and bike path. Repairs to TS 90 flail mower, field ditch mowing and boom mowing. Removed downed tree on Draper Road. Ground stump on Bill Road, removed obstruction in field ditch, Ledge Creek. Dirt work at Town Hall and took down plexiglass, repairs to toilet at Vets Park and winterized bathrooms at the parks. Paved parts of bike path with binder. Road ditch piping 140 feet on Berghorn Road. Trucks were treated by Rustcoat. Patched gas line at joint facility. Shoulder work on Catherine Drive. Picked up leaves at Town Hall and cemeteries. Hauled brush, prepared trucks for winter. Okay, assessors report. I am still working on the residential portion of the reassessment. This is very time consuming, will take months to complete. I have attached the list of recent sales for your review. The agricultural exemption renewals and other supporting letters will be mailed shortly. The senior citizens exemptions have been mailed and are slowly being returned. She has no other concerns at this point in time. And she attached the current sales for the end of September. The questions? Code officer, building department. See the permit for a report for October 22nd to November 10th. Additions, remodeling, roofs, windows. Couple commercial buildings being added. If you're concerned about what that is, that's a couple additions at Odessa, which I guess a new company owns them now and, they're doing some remodeling and, expansion. Which is good. Okay. Questions? Town clerk,
Nothing at this time.
town attorney? Assistant,
Nothing at this time.
councilperson Jandrowski.
Yes, I contacted Christine, actually, she contacted me on the HVAC quote, which we discussed earlier in work session. I will get back to her on that. Also, I received the information from Dawn on contractors who did this bidding and the work at the town hall a couple of years ago on sealing the bricks, so we'll be looking into that also. And I also reached out to Akron Fire Company President Brandon Chase. I had a question on the membership, and he got back to me on that.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay. Councilman Dugan is absent. We hope he gets better. Councilman Burke.
Yes, I attended the meeting of the Joint Facility Committee on Thursday, the 10th. Items discussed, gas meter installed in our newly purchased gas line, the hookup of the joint facility boiler pending piping installation and testing, and then the gas usage will be activated for the JF heating unit. Panic button security awaits installation by the Amherst Alarm. The HVAC boiler recently installed is working well. And it's interesting to note that because of work done in-house, it was at least approximately a $9,000 savings over the anticipated expense. Gutter repair, that will request quotes from the professional because of safety installation issues. And we thank the Rotary Club who painted over the graffiti on the bike path shelter. And they plan to put an exterior coat of paint next year. That's it.
Okay. Councilwoman Polk,
Nothing at this time.
supervisor, this last meeting, I attended the Association of Supervisors meeting in East Aurora. Also attended a visit by our county executive at the senior center on the 25th. Participated in the interviews with the cleaners with Dawn and Sarah. Also the assistant bookkeeper with Colleen. Delivered the grant paperwork for community development block grant to the grant writer in Hamilton. Also had discussions with the Alden supervisor concerning dog control services. And that's it.
Question, the county supervisor on the 25th visiting the senior center. What was the principal reason for that?
The county executive
Is that what you
wanted
mentioned?
to just visit. There was every mealtime, every lunch is sponsored by Erie County Food Services, and he was just out here checking ours as he does all the senior centers.
Super.
It was very nice.
Is that the first time in a long time that we've had his visit?
For that particular reason, I think it's first time in a couple of years.
Thank you.
Okay, unfinished business, buildings, I think John went over them well enough. Planning, I think we reviewed the only major thing in planning, a couple items. One is the noise law, which hopefully we will get some information to review at our next work session. Water sewer, Scott,
Yeah, good news. The mainline water lines are all complete at this point in time. They're undergoing testing, this past week and this upcoming. Once the testing is done, we'll be able to install the individual services and do the connections to the existing water lines. So, finish line is in sight.
thank you, sir. Grants, the only We're waiting on, still the Parks grant, from the state. The only other, state community development block grant, which they're going to visit this coming week concerning, the grant application that we submitted to them, and that's it. I do have the grant writers looking into other grants after the first of the year. Okay, new business. First, resolution to approve the 2023 budget. Got
Yes, I'd like to propose the following resolution, if I have it correctly here. Resolved that the town board does hereby adopt the town of Newstead 2023 budget as previously filed by the town supervisor and known as the preliminary budget with the following amendments. And these amendments, Madam Council, must be read
State is outlined below.
as outlined below, since they're rather interesting. And further resolved, the town board, in accordance with New York State Town Law, Section 198, issues a letter of authorization to enforce collection of unpaid accounts, which authorization letter is attached hereto and made a part hereof.
good. You've been around a meeting or two. Is there a second?
Second,
Second it? Discussion? Jennifer, please pull the board.
Councilman Jandrowski,
Yes.
Councilman Burke,
Aye.
Councilwoman Pope,
yes,
Supervisor Cummings,
Yes.
carried.
Okay. B is the 23-25 fire contract with the New City Fire Company.
I'd like to propose the following resolution where the town board of the town of Newstead has duly called and held a public hearing on the proposed fire contract to the Newstead Fire Company Incorporated for the year 2023 to 2025, and whereas following the public hearing and the comments received therefrom, the town board determines that it is in the public interest to approve the proposed fire contract. Now therefore be resolved as follows. Number one, the town board does hereby approve the proposed contract for fire protection, rescue, and EMS services with Newstead Fire Company Incorporated for the period of January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2025, a copy of which is attached here to and made part hereof. Two, the supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the contract on behalf of the town of Newstead and the Newstead Fire Protection District. Three, this resolution shall take effect immediately.
There's a second?
Second.
Discussion? Please pull the board.
Councilman Jandrowski.
Yes.
Councilman Burke,
Aye.
Councilwoman Pope,
yes,
Supervisor Cummings.
Yes.
Carried.
Okay, C is a resolution to set a public hearing for local law number 5 to repeal local law number 4 of the year 2022.
I'd offer the following resolution, whereas the state of New York previously approved tax cap legislation limiting local tax increases to the lesser of 2% or the actual increase based upon the consumer price index of US urban areas over 2 consecutive 12-month periods. And whereas the town board of the town of Newstead has adopted legislation each year to override the tax cap, and whereas in 2022, the town board approved local law number 4 of the year 2022 to allow the town to override the tax cap for 2023, which was established at 2%, whereas the town did not exceed the 2% tax cap with the adoption of the 2023 budget. And whereas the town board has now been advised that even though it did not exceed the tax cap with the 2023 budget, the town would not be considered to be tax freeze compliant unless it repeals local law number 4 of the year 2022. And whereas the town board has determined that it is in the best interest of the town of Newstead to be considered tax freeze compliant so as to make property owners in the town eligible to receive real property tax freeze credits from the state of New York. Whereas the town board has determined that the proposed action is a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act and no further action is required with respect to SECRA. And whereas do I say that part?
I introduce the following.
Okay. Whereas I introduced the following proposed local law number 5 of the year 2022 is attached entitled Local Law to Repeal Local Law number 4 of the year 2022 and presented a copy to each member of the board, which reads as follows. Now therefore it is hereby ordered as follows. A hearing before the town board of the town of Newstead in the county of Erie shall be held at what? At the town hall 5 Clarence Center Road, Akron, New York, at 7:20 on the 28th day of November 22 for the purpose of hearing all persons interested in the proposed local law number 5 of the year 2022. And be it further ordered that the town clerk is directed to publish a notice of public hearing in the Akron Bugle designated as the official newspaper for this publication. Such publication to be not less than 5 days before the date of the public hearing, and post is required by law 1 copy of the notice of public hearing no later than the day such notice is published, and B, notify by mail all parties of interest pursuant to the general municipal law and the town law of the public hearing not less than 5 days before the date of the public hearing. And be it further ordered that the town clerk is to make copies of the proposed local law number 5 of the year 2022 entitled Local Law to Repeal Local Law number 4 of the year 2022, available at her office for inspection and distribution to any interested person during business hours.
Is there a second?
Second.
Resolution's been made in second. Any discussion? Please poll the board.
Hey, just to note,
Oh.
just to clarify, because Patty didn't specifically say to see attached, that the local law is attached to the resolution.
With that change, please poll the board.
Councilman Jandrowski.
Yes.
Councilman Burke.
Aye.
Councilwoman Pope.
Aye.
Supervisor Cummings.
Yes. Okay, D is a resolution to set a public hearing for the contract extension for Twin City Ambulance on November 28th at 7:25.
Whereas the town board, together with representatives of the town of Amherst, town of Clarence, village of Akron, village of Williamsville, Clarence Fire District Number 1, Eggertsville Fire District, and Snyder Fire District, the parties, previously entered into a contract with Twin City Ambulance for pre-hospital emergency medical services for a term of 3 years, commencing on January 1, 2018, and terminating on December 31, 2020, the agreement. And whereas at the conclusion of the initial term of the agreement, the parties exercised an option under the agreement to extend the contract period for an additional 2 years from January 1, 2021 to December 31, 2022. And whereas the Emergency Medical Services Board is working to develop a comprehensive request for proposals for a new contract, and it has recommended that the parties extend the agreement for an additional year through December 31st, 2023, to allow the EMS board appropriate time to complete its process. And whereas pursuant to paragraph 184 of the town law, a public hearing is required prior to entering into a contract on behalf of a fire protection district. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Newstead as follows. 1, that a hearing be held before the town board of the town of Newstead in the county of Erie at the Town Hall, 5 Clarence Center Road, Akron, New York, at 7:25 p.m. on the 28th day of November 2022, for the purpose of hearing all persons interested in the proposed contract extension with Twin City Ambulance for pre-hospital emergency medical services, a copy of which is attached here too and made a part hereof. 2, that the town clerk is directed to A, publish a notice of public hearing in the Akron Bugle, designated as the official newspaper for this publication, such publication to be not less than 10 days before the date of the public hearing, and post as required by law 1 copy of the notice of public hearing no later than the day such notice is published. 3, that the town clerk is to make copies of the proposed contract extension available at her office for inspection and distribution to any interested person during business hours. And 4, this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Self-explanatory. Please poll the board.
Councilman Jandrowski.
Yes.
Councilman Burke.
Aye.
Councilwoman Pope.
Yes.
Supervisor Cummings.
Yes.
Carried.
Okay. E, entertain a motion to approve the Dale Gooch and Roxanne Gabby as cleaners effective October 31st.
So moved.
Second.
I forgot to add at a rate of $18. Still okay? Motion second.
Approved. Yeah, I move 18. per hour.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. F, I'll entertain a motion to approve a part-time hire in the building and planning department effective the 1st of December at $18.50 an hour, and her name will be Christine Falkowski.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. And G, entertain a motion to approve a part-time assistant to the bookkeeper, Emily McCoy, at $18 an hour, effective, November 14th.
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Any other new business? Being none, privilege of the floor. If there's anybody that has any comments, please state your name and address, and we're more than willing to hear your comments. Yes, sir.
My name is Alvin Dan, and I live at 87 Cornell Estates. As you know, we've been dealing with the noise ordinance and the problems with the concerts for quite some time. And the last time we were here, we were told that it was going to be addressed, and I was very pleased to hear today that some changes or amendments to it have been made and are being made. And I'd be very interested in knowing what changes, what is actually being done, as soon as you can elaborate on it.
Will do. Will do. Because right now, we're not totally sure what all those changes are
I
going
got
to
that
be
impression.
proposed to us. And once they're proposed to us by our code officer, obviously the board will have input. We'll probably ask other people that are involved in the town government in one shape, form, or matter, for their opinion also. And hopefully come up with something. It's gotta be better.
Thank you for
It's gotta be better.
getting started on it.
Yeah. Okay, any other comments?
Just a comment, it is that we anticipate in the reasonably near future that the proposed comments generated by the code enforcement officer will be sent first to town council for perusal. Upon that, then they will be distributed to supervisor and the remaining other board members. That's my understanding.
Correct.
There will ultimately be a public hearing on the local law before anything is passed, so. the public will be notified.
Okay, anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you one and all. Be safe on the way home.
Have a good evening.
Your shovels, snow shovels up.
It's absolutely freaking wonderful. And inconvenient.
When Ken mentioned it today, I was like, well, when I listened to the news, it appears we're in that.
Just going home, I went to the Bills game last night for yesterday, so. I took Henry for his first Bills game. Can you imagine that being your first Bills game?
How many times?
Well, it's only 2
So
weeks in a
the
row.
only thing I can tell you is he learned some new words.
No.
Game.
That's
I was talking